Welcome to another episode of Luxury Infinite. If you enjoy all things luxury, then subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on any of our latest and greatest uploads. The legend of King Solomon is pretty outlandish. If you believe it, then you believe that the biblical ruler put together a personal net worth comprised of gold worth $3 trillion. It's all right there in the Old Testament. King Solomon reportedly gathered 500 tons of pure gold. That gold was taken from mines that some true devotees of this legend believe still exist. Celebrity net worth has taken some flack for posting a list of the richest people in history, inflation adjusted of course, and not including King Solomon. But it is our opinion that Solomon's existence and fortune can't be proven to a scientific certainty. It is just not 100% factual that there was ever actually a King Solomon, or that he had any wealth at all, if he did exist. There's definitely not any solid evidence that his fortune was actually large enough to make him the wealthiest human being of all time. But now it seems, at least one historian agrees with us. British historian and author Ralph Ellis believes that the legend of King Solomon is a complete myth. Ellis posts that the infamous ruler was not the king of Israel, but rather an Egyptian pharaoh whose story has been wildly misinterpreted over the centuries. Ellis even goes so far to say that those legendary mines that were the source of Solomon's fortune never existed at all. I mean, imagine that. Ellis believes that the legend of King Solomon grew from the story of a pharaoh called 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, who was the ruler of Egypt and Israel in the 10th century BC. Ellis delightfully said that the possibility of finding Solomon's lost mines is about as likely as taking a dip in the fountain of youth. Ellis researched the story of Solomon for 20 years. Solomon's story unfolds in the books of Kings and Chronicles in the Old Testament. Ellis started studying the legend of King Solomon in 1997. He found that the stories of amazing riches buried somewhere in Israel are most likely a gross misinterpretation of historical texts. He will admit that there is probably a grain of truth to the story of Solomon's wealth, but not quite to the capacity of it being $3 trillion. Ellis's research has led him to conclude that Solomon was not a wealthy king of Israel. He was a powerful and very feared Egyptian pharaoh. The wealth of the pharaoh was accumulated by neighboring rulers robbing royal tombs in Egypt's Valley of the Kings so that they could give the riches to Solomon in exchange for him not invading their territories. For many generations, archaeologists and theologians have crisscrossed Israel in search of Solomon's mines, capital city, palace, temple, and wealth. No one has ever found even so much as a hint of them. At some point, facts have to be faced. The legend of King Solomon and his wealth is just that, a legend. Or, and this is a slim possibility, all of those archaeologists and theologians have all just been looking for all the wrong things in all the wrong places. Ellis believes that the stories of pharaohs were not acceptable to later biblical authors, so they altered history to make the pharaoh an Israelite hero. This explanation, if true, would solve all the inconsistencies in the Bible in regard to King Solomon. Additionally, the treasures that would have been Solomon's are likely in Cairo's Egyptian museum, not buried in the desert somewhere. There isn't enough proof to include him on this list. However, British Bible scholar 𝐸𝐻 believes that Solomon did exist and did receive large quantities of gold as tribute. Thanks to these gold tributes, 𝐸𝐻 calculates that Solomon might have accumulated an inflation-adjusted fortune of $20 billion. That's a very impressive fortune, no doubt, but it's clearly not enough to make him the richest human being of all time. And with that, we've reached the end of this video, all about the richest man who ever lived, King Solomon's secrets to success, wealth, and happiness. If you enjoyed it and you found it interesting, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.